Our journey starts in the town of Pedi. From here, we travel north towards the university town of Alice, and then east through the old Ciskei town of Dimbaza, past King Williamstown and Bishop towards the sea. Finally, we turn south towards Hamburg. This is the Makana route. For 100 years, this land between the Fish and the Kai rivers was a battleground. On this route, we trace a bloody history of military conflict between the Amaxhosa and the Dutch and British colonists. Interwoven with this history of conflict is a supernatural history, setting the might of the British Army against the magic of the Amaxhosa war doctors. This is a place of seers and prophets, of magic and mystery. The Makana route takes the traveler on a journey of great contrast and cultural diversity. This diversity has been etched onto maps of the area. Many villages along the Makana route bear the names of the fatherland of their founders. Potsdam, Hamburg, Breitbach, Frankfurt, and Hanover all stand as reminders of the German colonists of 1857. The Germans were not the only settlers in this region. The Amahlubi, Abambo, and other clans, known collectively to the colonists as the Fingos or Mpengu, had fled from their ancestral lands further north. For a time they had lived with the Kareka in the land east of the Kai. In 1835, the Amahlubi Abambo moved south, where in exchange for their military support, they were granted land here, around the town of Pedi. It is here at Umkwashu, the Mulkud tree, that the Amahlubi Abambo pledged their allegiance to the British crown, and where their descendants gather every year to commemorate that day. And here, in these churches and mission centers, that they worshipped and pledged to educate their children. The Makana route also takes the traveler to the sites of some of the great battles of the frontier wars of dispossession, and to the historic forts of Marais, Wiltshire, and Pedi. It was here, at Fort Pedi, that the tide began to turn in the 7th Frontier War of Dispossession, the War of the Axe. After the victories of Boma Pass and Burns Hill, the Amaxhosa had never looked so threatening. The British position was insecure, their supply lines in tatters, their forts threatened, their leaders on the run. In May 1846, 8,000 Amaxhosa warriors gathered here at Fort Pedi. Although the British were outnumbered, they had one crucial advantage: their firepower. The battle fought was short and deadly. After less than an hour of combat, the Amaxhosa were forced to retreat, leaving the bodies of close to 100 of their comrades strewn in these fields. Close by, here at the Gwanga River, a second battle was waged soon after. An Amaxhosa war party had been spotted crossing the river. The British cavalry rode out to intercept. The Amaxhosa stood their ground, but against the deadly cavalry charge, they stood no chance. More than 500 Amaxhosa warriors perished that day. The river ran red with their blood. The AmaXhosa developed guerrilla tactics that they used to great effect in the thick bush. But in the open, they were seldom able to win decisive battles against the well-drilled British troops. In the face of this military imbalance, the AmaXhosa turned to their diviners and war doctors for supernatural support. Their great war doctor was Makhanda Kanxele, or Makana, who gives this route its name. 6'6" and powerfully built, he was a striking figure. Weaving together Christian and Xhosa beliefs into a powerful message of hope, he prophesied the expulsion of the British. Makana, more than any leader before him, was able to unite the AmaXhosa against their common enemy. He was the first great Xhosa revolutionary. But after the devastating Battle of Grahamstown, in which more than 1,000 of his warriors were killed, Makana gave himself up to the British to spare his people further bloodshed. Makana was imprisoned on Robben Island, but the great man's rebellious spirit could not be contained there. He had always promised his people he would return, and in 1820 he escaped by boat. But he did not survive the journey and drowned in the treacherous waters on the way to the mainland. After his death, the island became known as Isiqithi sikaNxele, Makana's island. But the spirit of Makana lived on. It was resurrected again and again in the years to follow by all those South African leaders who fought against impossible odds for the freedom of their people. As we traveled this route from the battle sites of the bloodiest of the frontier wars of dispossession to the ancient ruins of forts, through sites of great cultural diversity, we celebrate our history and our heroes on this, the Makana route.